Hey family, welcome back to our channel. Yes, it's been forever. We've missed you tons. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share. Please enjoy the episode. Sit back, relax, and indulge. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today is a very, very special day, and so we're pulling all stops. So today we've got a beautiful guest with us today.
Yes, she is a life coach, a mom, a gorgeous lady, slash celebrity, supermodel, whatever you want to call her. She is a lovely woman of God. We have Nazli with us.
Hello Nazli.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Well,
today.
so happy to have you.
I've been looking forward to this, especially during Women's Month.
Yeah.
We'll step up and speak truth and bring light.
Yes.
Right? In this gorgeous setting that we're in. So well done, ladies. Well done.
Thank you. So Nazli, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? What do you love?
Okay, so there's so many layers and I've gone through so many stages in my life. Let me just quickly start a little bit at the beginning. So I was Muslim, I grew up Muslim. Background was a bit, growing up, my childhood was very tumultuous. There was a lot going on, and I'll get into that if we have time for all of that. But there was a lot of brokenness and just growing up where I come from, which is on the Cape Flats. So I grew up Muslim. Long story short, got a bit lost in the world, and until I found myself in the presence of the Lord, and I gave my heart to Christ. I think it was about 4.5 years ago, and that's truly when my life started changing, for sure. Like I see the difference between then. So I have something to compare it with, and life is just so much sweeter.
Sure. What was that one thing that sort of made you decide to give your life to the Lord?
Oh, you know what? It wasn't even one thing, and as I've gotten to know how God works and what I fell in love with, maybe I can answer it that way, is that I've never felt the kind of love that I feel knowing how God sees me. And I had such low self-esteem. I had my self-worth was in the toilet, for lack of a better phrase. And I truly started being built up from the inside out. And I am a different woman, not looking to be just like, not even validation, but not looking to be filled, like, because I was running after whatever it is I was running after, because I didn't know who I was, whose I was, and how special and precious I am. And working with young people, that's the one thing I want to drive home always, is that we are so valuable, we are so special, and the enemy wants to steal that from us.
Sure.
So as long as he can have our minds and thinking that we're less of, we're not worth it, we succumb to so many things, especially as women.
You know, you spoke about you speaking to young people. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I know you have like a little organization thing that you right?
Okay, so I'm a counselor, as you said, and I'm a life coach, and it's because of my journey and literally being at rock bottom, and through my personal development, as in building myself, God has led me to do what I'm doing today. So I do believe it's my purpose, I do believe it's my calling, because at that 13, 14, 15, 21, I needed what I'm doing right now.
Sure.
So whatever it is I'm doing, it's with the whole purpose of knowing that I want to be what I needed at their age.
Oh, wow.
You know, so we are so lost. Okay, so why I work with the youth, firstly, I just believe this is my calling, and feeling so lost as a young person. So there was listen, my parents did the best they could, okay, with the circumstances we were given, growing up in the hood, whatever. And so with the things that happened in my childhood, unfortunately, there was alcoholism and abuse. Again, as I say, because of our circumstances, really. Okay, so you be broken, you become broken inside, and where you're supposed to have that safety and that security, that's where you know what I mean? Like where you just really get broken, and so you go out into the world with this brokenness and this I'm not good enough. This way you were supposed to be validated at home. My parents did the best. My mom was, she's just an amazing, strong woman. All I'm saying is they did what they could. I've had to do a lot of forgiving.
Yes.
And the minute I forgave, as the word says, I started being restored and I started being healed. So just getting back to quickly your question about working with the youth. So as a counselor and a life coach, my journey, my pain and my rediscovering myself and building myself brought me to the point of becoming a coach and becoming, but I like to call it a personal development coach. And I believe that Jesus Christ is the perfect person he is a walking personal development guide or manual. So when you want to become better, just do what Jesus does. Like literally everything that we learn in personal development, it's doing the things that God says. Really, genuinely. So, and just building like all that self-esteem and all these things, it's all just walking. When you're walking with the Lord and you're walking and doing these ways, this is what you'll get.
Yeah, because what I like is that you said that I became what I needed when I was young, and I thought that was so profound. Because there's so many times that we are walking uncharted territory and we don't know what to do and we make mistakes. Mistakes that cost us. You know, as you were saying, who I was at 13, at 15, at 21 is not the person you are. So what is it that in your journey that you could say you're continually imparting on young people? Because we don't always have mentors or anyone to guide us on our journey. But it is so important that as we look at our lives in retrospect to say, you know what, this is a mistake I know I shouldn't have gone into. So how is it that you guide young people to find themselves and so that they don't take a wrong path?
You know what? It's so layered because what I've learned is the minute I started filling myself with light, with goodness, and really genuinely knowing who I am and whose I am and how God says I am. And when I filled myself with that, I became I had my self-worth back. I had my self-belief back. I started dreaming again. I stopped dreaming a long time ago, and I try and teach them, you need to not stop dreaming. The enemy doesn't want us to dream. Because dream is what? We're visualizing, we imagining a future. And with the future comes hope. We have to dream in order to have hope. So he doesn't want us, everything that happens to us, we become so stunted and so we don't expect too much, so we don't dare to dream. So that's one thing. But the most important thing I say to young people is, you know, with that bullying and all of this, whether it's there's so much that they are dealing with right now. If I instill certain values and certain tools and skills into young people, and you feel worthy, you feel worthy, and you feel just confident within yourself, nobody's going to be able to bully your child. I'm telling you right now. They may be able to try, but it's not going to break them. They're going to have to speak up because they know who they are. So it's really important to let the kid know, or the young person, especially teenagers. So I work with teenagers mostly. They need to know that they are valuable, they are special, and that there's a place for everybody, and it doesn't matter where you come from. Your past is not who you are.
Yes.
Okay, whether it was good or bad, it's your past. You know, your present and your future does not depend on what happened, you know, to us. And you said something about when we are, you saying something about the choices we make, and it could be so costly. So the brokenness that I had growing up, okay, in my BC days, now in my WC day with Christ, I'm a different woman. Okay, purely because I know I'm loved. I needed that. It's as simple as that. I needed that kind of love that is there's no condition. It's I'm telling you, when that came into me, the game changed. I loved your posting. The game changed. When I knew how he sees me, the game changed. And you know, we can't just read it once or twice. You need to stand up. Because something needs to change. A habit needs to change. You need to rewire whatever it is your old self-beliefs needs to go. You know, so it's all just about creating habits and filling yourself with great tools and skills and talks and just light and have people pouring to you. You know?
I feel okay, that's all great and everything, but I feel like there are moments, and I speak from experience when I say this, that there are moments or times or phases in life and certain things that we go through and we are faced with that we actually don't realize that we are struggling with. So for example, I was sharing with you girls earlier about the type of men that I attract or used to attract, and back in the day I used to attract much older men, you know, and you know, very opulent men and all of that, and I knew, I didn't understand back then that it was because I had daddy issues, right? And now that I'm older and wiser, I understand now why I would, you know, attract those sort of things. So as a young girl, as a young woman or whoever, that's what, how do you, how is it that you're, I don't even know if you can answer this question, but
let's see. Let's see.
But how do you realize that what you are having or what you are going through in your life right now is contributed to certain things that you went through in your past, in your childhood?
Yeah, that is quite a very good question. So again, like, I can only speak from what I have. You know what, it all, honestly, I know you're speaking about, like, how do we recognize this? How do we recognize this trends or this pattern that possibly we created? So now, the problem is, as a young person, you're not going to know.
You're not going to know.
Because you say the magic words, you go through certain things, but you don't even realize you're doing it. So this is why we need people to speak into.
That's so profound.
Right?
That's
like,
so
and we need to be those mentors. Like what you guys are doing with the show, incredible. Be transparent, be real, be honest. We need the light. We need to bring the truth, the light to it. They are not going to know. They're going to walk through whatever stage or phase or season they're in. But if they hear it from somebody, the seed's going to be planted. You know, and that's all God wants us, and that's why you do what you do, because that's the seeds that needs to be planted. And again, just speaking about how valuable we are. You know, some people has never heard that. You are special. I'm proud of you. I love you. You are beautiful. This body shaming, this shaming, and it's like the words words are so powerful, as we know, and we need to be careful what we say to others. And it's our responsibilities as co-human beings and coexisting as human beings. We need to know the effect of our words onto somebody else.
I love what you're saying, to say we need to hear it. But you know what I've also realized is the voice within that becomes the negative one. And to say, like, I've also started like a self-love journey. I mean, I didn't like love my body for whatever it's worth. But now I'm thinking, no, I need to start embracing. But again, as you said, once a seed is planted to say you are beautiful, you are valuable. And then the game changes.
It does.
The game changes because you show up as a confident girl, confident woman. And then also, as you say, even when things happen in life, you are able to stand your ground. You know, you're not going to be sort of wavered because you know who you are. And you are you are grounded in everything that you believe in. And so for me, it's like, what are the things you say to the young people? Like, what is it that you say to say, this is going to, you know, that as you plant a seed of word of encouragement or word of affirmation, what are the things that you say that they walk away with so that they become grounded and solid in who they are?
Okay, so I think it's very important to speak about our testimonies, because that's the only, you are the expert of your life. And so are you, and so am I. So I can't for 1 second try, and I can empathize, I can try and understand, but I can only speak, and this is why God gives us certain battles, so I can understand what you are going through, so I can come with the word to you. The very important thing is just giving people, firstly, just having them learn how to believe in themselves. You know, the whole self-image, the whole inner critic that you were speaking about there. Like, our self-image is a story we tell ourselves. And it's a story. It's often not the truth. Okay, so we honestly, you need to sit down and bring light to that. So again, with young people, they are going to need somebody that maybe stands up somewhere at school or wherever it is, or on social media. Another thing I'll say is, we don't need to be used by social media. We can use social media.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that? So when and I
like
this
that.
is what I
I
encourage.
love that.
100%. We are being used by it too much.
So
You know what? Something that just dropped in my spirit, and I just feel the Holy Spirit is saying this. So there's two things we need to do. Firstly, when I'm feeling low and I don't have any strength to draw from, like I need strength, and I made a video about this not too long ago. I need to draw on something, and I wake up, I really just don't even feel like this day or whatever season it is I'm going through. I can't draw from within because I have nothing to give to myself right now. Then I draw from other people's strength. So I go and find something on the thing that I'm dealing with. So I go type in self-esteem.
Yes.
I go type, I feel ugly.
Confidence or
I feel, I'm a little broke. I'm just saying, I'm just
that's
making an example. There is so many people that's gone before us that has walked this walk, that has had their testimonies or tools and skills to get out of it, anointed, amazing people, trained, that is freely. There's resources on YouTube right now. Instead of scrolling endlessly through Instagram and feeling worse about yourself and your situation, because I see you living it up over there, and I'm trying to get some gas money over here. It's just not going to work. Don't inundate yourself with things that's going to put you down further. Go and fill yourself and be poured into with somebody else's strength until you can lift yourself up again.
so deep. That is so deep.
And that's what I do.
Oh, that is
Over and over, and it works for me in my life. I'm telling you right now, there's seasons, and I went through some stuff, my sisters, because of the brokenness I carried with. I didn't know how to deal with it until I started actively searching and wanting and looking for that things that I'm saying right now. Find what it is that you need in your life right now and go look for that person. There's amazing pastors, there's amazing motivational speakers, whatever. Go find the person that speaks to you in that moment for that season, and you listen and you get elevated by them.
I love the fact that you say for that season, in that moment, for that season. So that should not be somebody that you're going to depend on for the rest of your life.
Not.
You know, and that now speaks about relationships. To say, even when we go into relationships, we're going into relationships to edify each other, and not particularly so that
to get
Girl, I don't want to say that. Say, well, you're taken care of. Well, So I think what I'm saying basically is, I'll use myself as an example again to say, the kind of men that I used to attract are opulent, old men, older men. You know what I mean? So what does that mean? That brings financial security for me. And I think I'm having a daddy type of thing. For sure, right? Is that healthy? Not particularly.
No. Well, I also had daddy issues. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was married before, and because I haven't filled myself with all that light and whatever I needed to rediscover myself. I needed to work on myself. So after my marriage, so unfortunately, the things that we walk, all the mess and the baggage and things that we're walking with, we're gonna bring it into our relationships, and that person also comes with their baggage, and we need something from one another, but we don't even know how to give it to ourselves. How am I gonna know to give it to you? So then that costed me a marriage as well. And it goes from both ways. However, don't feel sorry for me, girl, because let me say this. God, like I was speaking with you guys earlier, I just feel, because I didn't have Christ, we didn't have the Lord in my life, I was a Muslim at the time, and I just feel, I don't think I would have been where I'm at. God is about union, He's about family. I know He's not about divorce. We didn't even get married under, we got you. It was cute on a beach somewhere. I was like, well, like the Holy Spirit was nowhere to be found. Do you know what I'm saying? So there was zero foundation. This is also very important. You need that foundation. Don't think it's gonna get easier, or this person is gonna change because you are delusional. Okay? So now, you know what I did after my marriage? It was a very broken, so extra brokenness came onto it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now, with all that pain, God is like, okay, listen, I've been shaking you now, and so He allowed me to obviously hit that rock bottom where there was only one way but up. They say so when you fall, make sure you land on your back so you can get back up. And you know how that saying goes. So what I just want to I'm landing this plane, and what I did and what was the transformation in my life, and I'm a whole different woman sitting here, man. There's just light emanating from inside of me. Lord Jesus, thank you. So one thing that is because I took a minute. I did not go and do the same thing I do the same thing to get what different results. It's not going to work. It's insanity, right? So what I did is, I got divorced in 2012. It's very unfortunate. Nobody wants that. You don't get married to get divorced, but it is what it is. It was the blind leading the blind. So much respect. Like, I've got to just say disclaimer, like my ex-husband and the wonderful father that he is to our daughter. So I've got so much respect for him. And bless him and pray for him and stuff. So, but what I'm saying is that when I took that time, I pressed into God. I pressed into learning about the Lord, not just getting my sermon, but I actually. Because you need to learn what the word says. Like I can read it, but I can't just read it. I need to go make it a part of my life. Like I need to press in. I need to not just get the milk. I need a little bit of meat now. You know, because you want to level up. You better level up. You need to get into your into the word and what God says, and that transform me. Because there was a habit of negative self-talk, negative self-belief. You name it, I had it. But then the whole transformation, the renewing of your mind, it's so true. As I filled, and I took what I needed. You know, the Bible doesn't need to be boring to read. Go and find what you need. And it will speak to you. So then my life transformed, and now finally, I said to the Lord after, I think it's 7 years, I said to the Lord, closer to the end of last year, okay, Father, I think I'm ready, Lord, and this is what I'd like, and you know, I have my vision list. I'm dreaming again. It's incredible. So that's where I'm at. That's where I am at. And I'm so sorry for. I know you were gonna go somewhere there, but I just want to say this, and that's why I feel it's so important with the young people, and why I do what I do is because I just feel it's such a waste not pouring into people at that age, because the enemy comes and steals our children when they are younger, before they have stood in their own, became their own person. He is trying to confuse our kids, and this is why it's important that we need to pour into them there. I don't need to come and fix an adult. Why don't we just start here?
Start here.
So that's so important.
And I just love it because, as you said, that we're different people and we evolve continually, and like something you hear can just transform you for the rest of your life. And I just love your testimony because it's so real. And that we go through so many phases. I mean, I look at myself. I'm not the woman I was 5 years ago. I'm not the woman I was even 10 years ago. But I'm definitely not going to be the same person 5 years from now. 100%. And I'm just so encouraged by your testimony. And I just think my takeaway from this is that we must continually find environments where we get poured into, so that whatever perception you had about yourself, you can remove it, you know, because you're hearing something different. You know, I used to find all these women events quite cheesy and corny. I did.
Very nice. I hear you.
But then you attend one, you're like, I'm a woman. I'm being
I love that.
You know, and now I'm just like warming up to them very much because, as I say, I'm like, here we go again. But you know, as I realize it's an opportunity for somebody 100%. To pour into me, and I become different.
You said something really powerful. You said you're going to hear something different.
Yes.
You're going to get a different perspective. And if I'm only listening to myself and my body, that's all I'm going to learn.
This is true.
And I actually had a break up with a friend.
Oh wow!
Because I needed to go to another level. I wanted more. And it's not necessarily just that the friend was the bad influence per se. We weren't very great influences on one another. But I knew something new was being birthed. I needed to move. So it's just so important. And I just think at the end of the day, it's just love. We need to fill up the things with love. You need to know how special, how priceless you are. Don't go and knock a door down. I'll say this as well, like, you know, when it's not your door, sometimes we want something so much, but God does know better. So I'm trying to break this door down and tell you what's behind that door. If it wasn't your door and you weren't welcome there, so much pain and so much hurt, so much suffering is behind that door. So if it's not opening, leave it.
What?
Double lock.
If it ain't opening, don't leave it.
Okay.
Leave it.
That is so powerful. I love it. So powerful. I loved it when you spoke about how you've literally taken 7-8 years and that 7-8 years was your recuperation period. Was your time for you to get to know yourself again, to rediscover what you probably didn't even know. You know what I mean? And for me, that stands out so much, to say sometimes it's okay. It's okay to not have anything but you and God, to have this, in order for you, that when this season is over of you understanding and opening up and all of that, this becomes easier.
Oh my gosh, you know what? Guys, there's something that I say, sometimes you have to walk away, you have to break free, right? So in the beginning, after my marriage was over, there was a time where I was numbing myself. So it was out, I was turning it all the way up, because I didn't know that. And then breaking away, because God has a way, He's plan for us will come to pass.
Amen.
So He will bring us to the point where it's like, okay, and He'll give us that revelation. So I then walk alone for a while. And you know the beautiful thing in walking alone, turning around and walking away from situations. There's so much power in there. You're so brave just doing that. Walking away from something that is not serving you is so brave in its own. And then, you know, the beauty in that aloneness, that walking alone for a while, you're not walking alone, you're walking with God. But that's where your strength comes in. In that time, you are walking alone. And now what happens is, when we make space, the space for new things to come in. And trust me, the right people come. The right opportunities come, because you were brave enough to walk away. But if you occupied here, say you say occupied here, but I'm wishing for a husband, I want this one, I'm hanging out here.
Mercy, Lord.
Why now? Why? How are you gonna?
You know, I'm reminding of, it was an IG live I watched with Pastor Kian Henderson, and he was saying, for example, when a soccer player or a basketball player is injured, what do? They rest it. And he was like, that's what we need to do sometimes. Rest it a little bit, you know, our spirits, you know, our emotions, you know, from one relationship to the next, just rest it. And as you say, once then the muscles then become more developed, you know, and then it's like, then you're back in the game, stronger and even better. But you gave yourself time to rest. And I love that, because you know my story, ladies. I've been resting.
I like that. You needed to do that, but now you need to come out of hiding.
Yeah, coming out.
So it's coming out.
She's coming out.
I'm coming out. This was so fruitful.
This
was
was.
so
Thank you so
insightful.
much for your time.
It's such a blessing to be here.
Yeah, we really, really do appreciate you. And there's so much that we've learned. So much I can personally take home as well, you know. So we really do appreciate you being here. We love you so much. You're so isn't she gorgeous?
She's just so beautiful.
She is so stunning.
Thank you so much. It's the light of the Lord, I'm telling you.
And it's beaming from the inside out.
It really is.
It's so beautiful.
It's so great to be. Thank you, firstly. Thank you so much for having me. I was looking forward to this. You ladies are definitely such an inspiration. And I just bless this beautiful platform. It's so needed, as we just established. And I just love seeing and seeing what you guys are doing. And speak about beautiful, you're gorgeous daughters of God.
Oh, thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching our episode today. And we do believe that you got some takeouts that are very valuable. So do watch us next time. This is me, Khamzi.
This is me, Noxie.
And I am Nazli.
And remember, keep dancing to the beat of the rhythms of grace.